Hello, welcome back. It's brew day, and today I am making two small beers. A raw saison, so that's no boil, and also my wild yeast beer. This is the yeast, it's fermented. I've got a nice cake at the bottom, and I'll be using this on the second beer when it's been brewed and it's ready for pitching the yeast. The book I was telling you about yesterday is this. It's called The Wild Crafting Brewer. And it's a really interesting book. It shows you how to make, well, they say beers, they're not really because they don't use malt. But what they call beer, there's wines, meads, sodas, all using ingredients that you can forage when you go on country walks. Or maybe in your garden you've got a little herb garden, and they show how you can actually use all of these ingredients to make your own wines, beers, meads. Very interesting book, and there's also a nice chapter on collecting or harvesting wild yeast. So that's the book that sort of inspired me. Okay, in the stock pot I've got just over 10 litres of water coming up or rising in temperature, and when it gets to about 70 or 80 degrees I'm then going to, and I've changed the recipe a little bit, I'm going to use 2 bags of light spray malt and 1 bag of medium spray malt. I'm going to dissolve all that in when it's at about 80 degrees, and then I'm going to pour off 5 litres into here, into the little tea urn, or wine warmer as it's called. This will be for the raw saison, so I'll keep this at around about 80 degrees to pasteurize the malt, and I'll just add hops straight into here. The wort in the stock pot I'm going to bring up to the boil, and then I'll just do a half-hour boil. So that's the plan. I'm going to focus on this one first, because when this is cooling after it's boiled, I can then focus on this one here, and by that time this will be up to about 80 degrees. It'll be held constant, and I can start adding the hops to this one whilst this is cooling, and these will steep for half an hour, so they're both half hours. For the raw, for the wild yeast, I'm using Colombus as my bittering hop, and I've already got it in a hop bag ready. Only about 3 grams, because it's 15.8 alpha acids, and in 5 litres you only need 3 grams. So they'll go in when it gets to the boil, and then I'm going to add to that some Galaxy at 15 minutes and then at 1 minute left. And again, it's just 3 grams of Galaxy at those 2 time points, and that'll be for the flavour and the aroma, and that's it basically. So I'm not going to bother tying the bag. For the sake of the 3 grams, I'll just keep this open and just pop them in, and then keep putting it back in. So that's my brew day plan. For the saison, the raw saison, I'm going to keep it quite traditional. I'm going to bitter with Perle, and then flavour and aroma will be Hersbrucker. And again, we don't need a lot. The Perle is not that high in alpha acids, and I can't find where it is now. I think it's only about 6% alpha acids, so I'm going to use 13 grams of Perle and 5 grams of the Hersbrucker at 15 minutes, and then with 1 minute to go. Both of these should have, according to the online calculator, an IBU of about 30. So that's the plan. Let's see if it works. I'll tell you one thing about these small batches. It makes cleaning your fermenters really easy. That's it. Just sanitising. Actually, I've decided I'm just going to do them both at the same time. So this is already at temperature, or it's getting very close. Yep. So I'm going to put in 13 grams of Perle into here, into the tea urn. And I'm still waiting for this to come up to the boil, but it should only be about 5 minutes. But I might as well start now and just do both at the same time. And I was exactly right, 5 minutes behind. So it's now 25 to 11, and I'm adding the small amount of hops for bittering. And I'm just going to loop it over like that so I can keep reusing the same bag. I'm not using 3 different bags when you're only dealing with a few grams. Okay, it's quarter to 11, so I'm going to add the first flavour addition to the raw saison, and this is 5 grams of Hersbrucker, which is 2.6 alpha acids. Actually, let me just adjust this. For the sake of 5 minutes, I'm going to add them now. And then they'll both finish at the same time. That's probably easier. I'm just using a bulldog clip because the sock's not long enough really to get all the way down because it's a 20 litre stock pot and I've only got, well, now it's boiling, probably 5 litres in there. So I'm having to use a bulldog clip and just have it precariously on the rim of the the stock pot. So that was 3 grams of Galaxy at about 16.1 alpha acids. Okay, we're done. We can now turn everything off. What I will do is just quickly put the lid onto here. Now, because this has been boiled, I'm not too concerned about leaving it for a while, but this hasn't, so I want to try and rapidly drop the temperature to around about 25 degrees, something like that, because it's not been boiled. How am I going to do it? Because it's in a tea urn, and I don't think these demijohns will take 80 degree liquid. So what I'm going to do, I've sanitised a 5 litre little stock pot. So I'm going to transfer it into here and put it into an ice cold sink, basically. Just fill it with ice cold water, and hopefully in about 10 minutes that will be at pitching temperature. Okay, I'm back. I forgot I had to go out for lunch. So what I actually ended up doing is bringing these down in temperature to about 45 or 50, and then I put them into the fermenters. The raw Saison has the S-shaped airlock. What will be the Wild Yeast Pale Ale is a three-piece airlock, so that's how I can tell the difference. Now, when these have come down to about 25 degrees, 23, 25, I'm going to pitch the yeasts. Obviously for the Saison, I'm using Belle Saison from Lallemand. Maybe just about half a teaspoon. I don't need the full packet for 4.5, 5 litres. So half a teaspoon I think will be fine. That will go in to this fermenter. And of course here we've got the wild yeast. I'll pitch all of that in and then leave it for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks I'll bottle, and a week or two after that, when it's carved up, we can do a taste test. I'm actually quite interested, excited to see how these turn out. The raw beer, which I've never done before, raw Saison, and of course the wild yeast that I got from, I harvested from my garden. So, yep, in about a month from now, end of August, beginning of September, we'll know if this has been a success or not. I'm pretty sure the Saison will be a success. People have made raw ales for centuries, and on YouTube there's videos of brew tubers brewing raw ales. So I'm confident with this. It's this one that I'm really interested in, to see just how that yeast flavours this beer. Is it even drinkable? Is it going to make me ill? We'll have to find out in a month's time. So thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. I hope you're as excited as I am and as interested as I am to try these beers. And I will see you again as always in the next video.